Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to go over like fad diets and which one should you choose, should you not choose one, that kind of thing, or just like what's best for fat loss.
1, 2, 3. I've been running from the pain, trying not to feel the same, but it's a shame that we miss again.
First things first, guys, when you're going into a fat loss phase, overall calorie consumption or like input is going to be more important than what kind of diet you follow. So if you're someone who's eating more calories than you're expending, right, like more calories in than out, you're going to notice you're going to gain weight, or you might be maintaining weight. That being said, it doesn't really matter if you're on a keto diet or like a high carb diet or a high protein diet or paleo or vegan or whatever. It just depends on what you want. So if you find that you can sustain a keto diet for life basically, or like for a long period of time, it might be something that benefits you. But if you find that you're like always wanting carbs and like you're really tired without them and all that kind of stuff, like I personally can't live on a keto diet. I just feel crappy when I eat a lot of fats. But when I eat a lot of carbs, I feel amazing. So that's kind of like the diet that I would choose, or like the style of eating that I choose. There are benefits to both, and it really just comes down to the individual. Again, it's about creating sustainability, so you want to pick a diet that is best for you, right? So for example, the ketogenic diet, a lot of people like it because one, they're able to eat like peanut butter, they're able to eat avocados, like that kind of thing. If you're someone who eats like 2 avocados a day, it might be something to look into, right? But you don't necessarily have to go on like a ketogenic 100% diet to be like higher fats. It's just how you manipulate your carbs and your fats, right? So as long as your protein is a little bit higher, you can do whatever you want with the other two. My whole take on it is that you can basically eat whatever you want. I prefer flexible dieting, whereas it's basically as long as I hit my carbs, my proteins, my fats, I'm happy, right? Like if I want to have a freezie, if I want to have a cupcake one day, that kind of thing, I can eat it. It's just in moderation, and it's if it fits my macros, right? So I prefer that way because I like having a moderate amount of everything as opposed to like only a certain kind of food group. So that's my take. And it just depends on the person. Like I have one client who, if I gave her like 2 or 3 cups of rice in her meal plan, she would like lose her mind. She'd be like, how am I going to eat all this, right? But if I was like, oh, here's 2 avocados, here's some, like you can put olive oil in your chicken or like whatever, she loves it, right? Give her a handful of nuts, give her some seeds, whatever, she's like good to go, right? So it just depends on the person, and as long as it's sustainable and as long as you can stay in a deficit while consuming those foods, that's kind of all that matters. Guys, I'm not a doctor. This is my personal opinion based on the research that I've done and based on the clients that I have and the clients I've had in the past and what's worked and what hasn't worked. And I've just found that when you are on some sort of diet, whatever you want to call it, or just like some kind of way of eating that is sustainable, they're able to see progress long term. They're also able to see progress short term, and they're able to keep the weight off, which only like 5% of the world can do. So right? So it's just something that seems to work. I'm also going to say that like it's not a medical recommendation, right? Like I'm not going to say, hey, someone who's a type 1 diabetic, go on keto. Like I don't kind of work that way. It's just saying that, you know, there's different types of diets and different benefits of each, and it's about what's finding the right fit for you. Also finding what works best for your body, because sometimes people love high fat foods or high carb foods and their body does not like it, right? And as soon as they switch over to like the other kind of mix, they just notice like inflammation goes down and that kind of thing. But be careful with that, because you do want to make sure that you're not dealing with like a leaky gut. If you're dealing with that, then that's something to fix before you decide, you know, oh, I have to go on keto, oh, I have to go high carb. Like you really want to make sure that your gut health and like basically your system is running well, which a lot of the times when you're obese or when you have a lot of weight to lose, right? Some of those systems get thrown out of whack. So that's something that you also have to deal with and kind of find your way through that as well. Guys, is that if you have like a heart condition, or like if you have something with your lungs going on, or if there's like a blood issue or diabetes or like anything like that, please keep in mind this isn't like a recommendation. This is just saying that for the vast majority of people trying to lose weight, and that's what we're focusing on here, is losing weight, this is what seems to work, right? So there's other factors that you have to account for when you have those other health conditions. For example, I'm super allergic to birch contamination, like pollination. So basically, like I'm not allergic to almonds, but because they cross-contaminate with birch, I'm allergic to them. So I'm not going to be, you know, if I'm on like a ketogenic diet, someone's not going to recommend that to me, most likely, because I can't eat any nuts. I can't eat like half the things that are on a keto diet. So it just isn't something that's going to work with me. So if you have allergies and that kind of thing, another thing to consider. I did 4 sets of 6 to 8 sumo deadlifts, really focusing on just driving with the legs. I haven't done these in a while, so the weight I just kept a little bit more conservative. With these as well, I have been working on fixing my double joints. So like if you look at my elbows, they're caved right in. So just focusing on trying to get that just a little bit more stability through there. So we're going to go over these ones, guys. 4 sets of 8 to 10. Basically what we're doing here is when you set up on the bench, you want to have it so that the bench is just underneath your shoulder blades. The bench is going to be different depending on how tall you are as well, so keep that in mind. From there, feet go shoulder width apart, and we want to make sure that they're at a perfect 90-degree angle, coming up at the top and squeezing as hard as we can. The whole body goes down, the whole body comes up. When you're at the very top, that is the peak point of that exercise, so make sure you hold. From here we got into some pull-ups. So I've been doing these on every single workout because I'm trying to make sure that I can do pull-ups again. I lost that ability over quarantine. So basically these are getting really easy, but I'm still focusing on holding and going super slow on the way down, and then again engaging with the lats and coming back up. I do suggest if you guys are trying to do a pull-up, start with just free hanging and then go from there. This is like the second or third step in. The Buff Bunny collection, like the pre-summer launch, came in, so I was so excited. So I did maybe change into that, but we focused on 4 sets of 8 to 10 for our lunges, and I really make sure that I lean forward a little bit more and I squeeze my glutes as hard as I can through these. With these as well, I also bring my knee a little bit forward so that we create more of that angle. Just find it helps hit my hamstrings and my glutes a little bit more that way. With these guys, just make sure your knees aren't wobbling all over the place. Keep them nice and steady. I got into some single leg stiff leg deadlifts. Now I'm still trying to find my footing on these because it's been a while since I've done these, but you're kicking the hips back, squeezing, and really driving up. So the entire time you should feel that muscle super contracted, and just make sure that you're really squeezing as hard as you can. I find these have been a game changer. All the unilateral exercises I've been doing have really helped to tone up my legs, and they're really, really, really good for glute work. So if you guys are trying to build your glutes, unilateral movements, they are harder. They're also amazing for fat loss, but they will give you awesome results. So I finished off with 4 sets of 20 for the sumo squats. Make sure that your legs are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I like to point my toes out, but it's up to you. Keep the knees tracking over the toes still, and then you're going to drive up and squeeze the glutes as hard as you can. This is like the queen of butt ugly exercises when you're doing these, so just make sure that you're really contracting at the top and go from there. Hey guys, I hope you learned something today and enjoyed the workout. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk to you soon.